So Jordan Peterson actually had some really interesting things to say about weak men, and I agree with him. I want to talk about some of these statements that he made, and we're going to break this down. And I want to show you why weak men are actually very dangerous, way more dangerous than strong men. If you think tough men are dangerous, wait until you see what weak men are capable of. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has it under voluntary control. A weak man is in a corner is more dangerous than a strong man, which makes a lot of sense. So this is a really important thing to understand because it affects us so much today. So we're going to break this down. There's three things I want to talk about in terms of weak men. And then I want to tell you how to stop being a weak man if you are, and to find out if you are one. So first of all, let's talk about why weak men are dangerous to women. So I'm not going to use the word, but the R word is a big concern for women. In fact, a lot of people have said we live in an R culture today. That's not true. Well, actually, I kind of agree, and I'll tell you why. Because we live in a weak man culture today. In fact, a lot of other countries besides the United States, especially in India, are suffering from this, and it becomes a really dangerous place. Why? Because weak men are the ones who generally look for the victim and try to take advantage and are going to go after women and attack women and try to get their sexual desires met by forcing a woman because they're desperate, because they're looking for prey. A strong man doesn't need to do that, right? Now, you could say, physically strong or whatnot. And yeah, there's some instances of crime and things like that where there's exceptions to this. But in general, right, from a morally or principally strong standpoint, a masculine man would not do that because he doesn't need to, because he wouldn't want to anyway. What you'll find is that men who are not masculine, men who are and can't compete with other men, those are the men that are going to look and see how can they get a sexual opportunity? Where can they get that from? Another thing is in relationships. Why? Because if you're weak, it will make a woman more masculine. She won't be able to be feminine. Also, she can't depend and trust you. She can't rely on you because she knows that if you're walking down the street, all right, and some guy attacks you guys, all right, that you're going to run. All right. She knows that you're not going to save her. You're not going to save the children. You're going to take care of yourself and run because you're weak. So it makes a woman actually have to be hyper vigilant in a relationship. Right? It makes it where she has to be more masculine. She has to go and watch out and take care of herself and take care of the children and make sure that the bills are paid and that the decisions are made and wear the pants in the family. And you see that a lot of times. A lot of guys will default to their wife and then they wonder why their wife isn't sexually attracted to them. Well, it's because she's very masculine. She can't be very feminine. And she's not going to be attracted to a guy where she has to wear the pants. She has to take charge and take control and she can't trust him. Right? You can think of femininity as this thing that needs to be protected and shielded. And it can only open up when there's a safe enough space for that to happen. And so you as a man has to create that safe space for women to be feminine. Others are not going to be feminine in your presence. They're going to be masculine because femininity is fragile and delicate. Okay. And so because of that fragility and the delicateness of it, it cannot exist in a space that is not safe. So who makes safe spaces? Strong men make safe spaces. They create the perimeter. They secure the borders. They make a space that's safe for women to be feminine. So in that respect, in relationship, weak men are dangerous to women. The whole Me Too movement, this is another thing. All right. You look at some of the guys, Harry Weinstein and Weinstein, whatever, and some of the other guys, Bill Cosby, some of the guys that were really the big names in the Me Too movement. So many guys are scared of the Me Too. I can't try and kiss a girl. I need to ask permission because I'm going to get Me Too'd. No, okay. All of these guys that got Me Too'd pretty much were weak men. They preyed on women. And a lot of women don't understand this, right? This is kind of the problem in society today and feminist kind of viewpoint is that women don't understand. They're like masculinity, toxic masculinity, bad. Okay. They don't understand that the actual strong men that are actually real masculine men, those aren't the guys that are doing this Me Too stuff. They're not going to try and use their position of power to get a woman to sleep with them because they can just go out to a bar and get a woman to sleep with them, or they can just go on a dating app, or they can just go and meet women and they have women. It's only a weak man that is going to use his position of power in order to get a woman or to take advantage of a woman. It doesn't make sense. That's why, again, why I teach men how to become strong men. As a, a lot of people say, they group me in, or they group a lot of guys in with this whole hating on women or like being sexist. I've been called sexist many times. I'm not sexist. I'm a big defender of women because I know that strong masculine men are going to make women safer, right? It's the weakness of men that has made it more dangerous for women. That's why the Me Too thing existed. It wouldn't exist if men were strong, all right? Also, another reason why they're dangerous to women is that weak men are unpredictable, okay? They're violent, especially after a breakup. This is weak men. This is a man that's extremely emotional, okay? That is not stoic. That is not very masculine. Now, there's exceptions. There are strong, like physically strong men. I'm talking about strength in terms of principles, of moral character, of quality of character being strong, okay? Being able to be stoic, to be able to endure hardship. When we think of strong, I think of hardened as masculine, right? We could replace really strong with masculine, but really masculine men are not going to be unpredictable. They're not going to be violent, even though that label gets attributed. They're capable of violence, okay? But to be strong, it means that you have emotional control and mastery. Something I talk about in the Bulldog Mindset membership, by the way, if you want to become a strong man that women actually want, go click the link down below, $7 for the first month. And I talk about how to develop your masculinity. That's the whole focus of Bulldog Mindset membership in various areas, from your finances to fitness to dating and relationships with women. There's a ton of videos and content. And there are a huge community of men that are seeking to be strong men that women actually want, that protect women instead of men that get involved in all kinds of stuff, to like the Me Too and stuff that we just talked about. There's fitness videos on there and becoming physically strong. And then how to transform your life completely. Okay. Like I did. I transformed my life from a weak man to a strong man. You can see my videos. You can see my transformation, complete transformation. I show you exactly how to do that. So if you want to transform yourself, join the Bulldog Mindset membership. There's a ton of other guys in there doing the same thing. All right. So let's talk about now, let's transition into why weak men are dangerous to society. And it's because weak men become the doormats that support ideas, ridiculous ideas like social justice, like feminism and Marxism. All right. The weak men are the ones who support these ideas. Now, why would they do this? Why is it weak men? It's because they can't compete, all right? People who like socialism, people who like Marxist viewpoints, at least men. See, the difference between men and women, the masculine and the feminine, is masculine desires a hierarchy. We see men that are above us. We see men that are below us. We want to climb the ladder of success to become the top dog. That is how men's brains are wired. Not good or bad. Women are egalitarian. What does that mean? That means that women just want everything to be cool. They just want everyone to be equal. They want all the other women to be at the same level as them. They want to just get along and just have it all be just fair. Okay. That's what women want. Now, also not good or bad. Like both of these things need to exist. Otherwise, if it was just men running society and just having a hierarchical viewpoint, it would just be ruthless killing and stabbing to get to the top. Okay. When you combine these things, you have this balance of the two, then you get a more productive society. But what happens is when you have weak men, it upsets the balance. Now you have all these men voting the same as women, or basically uplifting the same ideals as women, and why are men doing it in this case? Not because they are egalitarian, that they want everything fair for everyone. It's because they are hierarchical, but they're weak. So what do they want to do? They want to level the guys from the top, bring everyone down. Let's make it all fair. Let's evenly distribute, because that will make me less weak in comparison. So that's why they're dangerous to society, is because they're going to promote all these ideas that are going to be harmful for society. They're going to do that because they're weak and they can't compete. There's this quote in a really good book: strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. Because it's really true that strong men create the good times. Those good times, they create weak men because they haven't faced hardship. So they become weaker. And then, those weak men create hard times for the rest of society. And then eventually those hard times create strong men again. So the cycle does reboot. It's about every 80 years that this happens. And you can see this over time. And that is the cycle that we live in. And so weak men create this danger in society because they make it so that society, accepts these ideas that are not good for anyone. They're not the kind of things that are going to actually create upward mobility, create the ability to defend and protect. These weak men now have these opportunities to prey on women, to prey on the weak and take advantage of people, because you don't have strong men defending and saying, no, this is wrong, we're not going to do this, get the heck out of here. You look on also, as far as society, weak men, they don't stand on principles, okay? When you have a weak man in society, he's going to bend to whatever benefits him. Okay, so it's not a good way to have a society where whatever benefit, people are going to vote, people are going to choose whatever benefits them the most. You want men that are running society, that are in leadership positions. You want them to be basing them off of principles, not what benefits the most. You can see this in politics today, right? You have a lot of politicians today that are weak men. So what do? They basically cater to the donors. They cater to whatever, is going to get them reelected, as opposed to saying, no, I stand on my principles. I'm doing things because this is the right way to do things, right? So these weak men that don't have principles that they base their rule on, okay, or their leadership on, instead they base it on what benefits them the most. And so that changes, and that ends up becoming a detriment to society instead of a positive, because they're going to do whatever is going to be beneficial, whatever is going to get them reelected, which might not be the right choice. Okay, so that's going to undermine society. You look at mass shootings, okay? Mass shootings are done by weak men. Right? If you're a weak man, you are going to get bullied. Your life is going to be hard for you. You're going to get picked on. It's just going to happen. All right. I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying it. But those men, if they don't become strong, instead they become vengeful. They become angry, frustrated at society. They want their revenge. They want to take that out. That's where these mass shootings come from. Almost every one of the mass shootings that's happened recently, the school shootings, all these things, have been related to a man that felt rejected by women, rejected by society, because he was weak. A strong man, he's not going to resort to that, because why? A strong man knows he can go out there, he can make money, he can make his way in society, he can have social status, he can get women. So he's not going to be angry and vengeful and start shooting up the place. He doesn't need to do that. Another one here, the last one about society, this is just a point about this, is that society tends to try and eliminate strong men and masculinity, calling it toxic. So this is kind of, society is killing itself, right? Because in society today, the message being pushed is men are bad, masculinity is bad, toxic masculinity, right? And I don't even know if that's true. It doesn't matter. If you believe in biological evolution, then society is also an evolution of biology as well. So my point is, though, that society is trying to eliminate strong men. And so that is creating this, whatever you want to call it, endemic of weak men that are underpinning the foundations of society. All right. The last one here, which you should be most concerned about, is that weak men are dangerous to you. So I'll give you some advice here, which is never befriend a weak man, never befriend a coward. Why? You can't trust him. All right. He may betray you, or he will betray you on the right circumstances, and he could get you killed. All right. I don't want any guy around me that I can't trust. I'm not going to have around me a man that's not strong. It's just not going to happen, because I need to depend on him. I don't want to put myself at risk. I don't want to go somewhere and there's a fight or something, and then he fucking runs or he does something stupid and gets me into trouble or gets me killed. Or I don't want that, right? You can't trust someone who's a coward, because a coward will always do what is best for him when the circumstances get dangerous, right? Another thing to think about, and you should be aware of, is that if you're in a fight or if you're in an altercation, and this is why in general, I say to avoid them. Even if you're strong, you should know how to fight. You should know how to defend yourself. But a weak man will pull a gun or a knife in a fist fight if he knows he's losing. Okay, now you could apply this to a lot of different, it's not just a fist fight, but what I'm saying is that a weak man will sacrifice honor. He will sacrifice principles, and he'll do whatever he needs to do. So you have to be aware of that. So this is why weak men are dangerous. And so you should strive to not be a weak man, and you should avoid weak men and be worried about weak men in society, not about the toxic masculinity like so many people are afraid of. Now, again, like I said, if you want to become a strong man and you want to become a guy that women are attracted to, that is going to be successful in life, check out the Bulldog Mindset membership. Like I said, I've got a ton of videos on there on how to transform your life, how to become strong, how to become masculine, how to understand this. A lot of books in our book summary and the book club that we have in there about masculinity, The Way of the Superior Man, The Way of Men by Jack Donovan, good guy. And books like that you should read so you can learn this stuff, because society isn't teaching you this today. They're teaching you the opposite message, and they're making weak men. And those weak men are the ones that are dangerous to women, dangerous to society, and dangerous to you.